What is up, everyone? We are playing some War Thunder, absolutely one of my favorite games at this moment. You've probably all heard of it. So here it is, episode 1 of my Learning Curve series around War Thunder. In this episode of Learning Curve, we will be focusing on the fighter planes because that's what most players out there are using. By the way, this video should have been uploaded on Monday, but I ran into some power outages while editing and I lost quite a bit of footage and footage of editing work. I was editing like 3 to 4 hours straight. Power went out, lost everything, restarted all the editing stuff. Power went out again, so a lot of shit has been happening this week. Not a very good week, I have to say. You know, as well as the weather. The weather's gone bad. It's actually raining outside right now. It's very gray, but it's hot as well. And that's not a good combination. That makes everything like humid, and I fucking hate that shit. So I apologize. I haven't had a good week, but here we go. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is to get familiar with your plane or planes. I usually go to my best plane. That's the one that's been upgraded the most, obviously. As far as crew upgrades on the fighter plane goes, you will mainly have to focus around the G-force and the stamina first. That's where I put most of my upgrade points. Now, the third most important element is the repair and reload crew. If you upgrade those, you will simply be able to reload faster, your plane will be repaired faster at the airfields, all that good stuff. And this is extremely useful when you're dealing with multiple enemies. You really don't want to hang out around your enemies too long without being able to fire any shots. This is very important, people. You really have to pay attention to that. So the very first thing you need to do when you start a game as a fighter or with your fighter plane is to visualize your first move and plan your strategy ahead. You don't want to just go and fly into the enemy zone without having a plan because you'll get shot down pretty quickly if you do this. So first, analyze the situation and decide what you're going to do first. What I would do is to stay at a distance of at least 4 to 5 kilometers from your enemies and analyze their moves. And if you see any enemy distancing themselves from their teammates, that's where you can move in and try and take him down. A good way to do this is to start from a high altitude so that each time you engage the enemy, you have a height and speed advantage. This is probably one of the most safest and useful techniques of engaging enemy planes. A second way of engaging the enemies is to look around if any of your close-by teammates are getting shot at or pursued. The enemy will most likely not pay attention to you and they will be a pretty easy prey. This way you'll even get some bonus XP for saving one of your teammates. What you should also do is go for the bombers and try and stop them before they're actually getting to your ground troops. This will require you to have a fast plane though, because most of the bombers in this game are quite fast, especially when they are dive bombing. And I would really focus on taking out their wings. That'll bring them down pretty easily, and because if you shoot at the center of the plane or at the tail, it usually takes some time before you're able to actually disable them. But if you manage to put most of your rounds in their wings, they will start losing fuel and eventually the wing will just come off or the plane will catch on fire. Now let's talk about situations when you're surrounded by enemy planes, you're getting shot at. Now in those situations when you're outnumbered and you get someone on your tail, you have two options. You either fight back or you try and get the hell away from your opponent. So let's begin with the fighting back option. When you have someone on your tail and he is pretty close, the first thing you need to focus on is to try and make your plane as small as possible. Don't start making big 90-degree turns or any crazy maneuvers. You'll expose your wings way too much and the enemy will be able to shoot off one of your wings in no time. They're very fragile. You really need to watch out for that. Instead, try making small adjustments with your rudder and occasionally move from left to right and try and throw off their aim. While you do that, lower your flaps by pressing F and reduce your speed slightly. Now if you do those things correctly, especially in the slight turn, your attacker won't see it coming and he will just fly right past you or right over you, and now you will find yourself behind him. As soon as you do, set your speed again to the maximum, retract your flaps immediately, and then of course you have the chance to finish off your opponent and get him and get out of the enemy territory. Also know that this technique will require you to have a relatively light plane with lots of maneuverability. Now to make your aircraft as light as possible, make sure you don't equip any bombs or rockets. Just try and make the wing load as light as possible, and make sure your plane isn't fueled up all the way. This will make your plane significantly lighter and more maneuverable. So these are pretty much all of the attacking basics for beginners out there. Now these tips really helped me out. They definitely made me a better player, and I hope that in the end they will make you a better player as well. In fact, I am sure of it. If you haven't played this game yet and you're interested, I have put a link in the description. Go check it out, go download it. It is free to play and it's an awesome game. So we're at the end of the video and I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, do not forget to like and share the video, as it really helps out my channel. It helps it to grow, and I would just really appreciate it if you did those two things. And of course, do not forget to subscribe for more of my content. I am Dolce, and I'll see you in the next video.